All right. So good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be here sharing this important information with you. First off, let me introduce myself. I'm Mr. Andy Pulache, and as I said before, I'm like more than honored to be here sharing uh, this information with you. The main purpose of you to be in this course is to uh, face this exam you will have soon the best possible way. So today I'm going to be sharing information about regarding to reading. Okay, as you know, reading has three components. We have the pre-reading stage, we have the while reading stage, and the last one is the post-reading stage. So today we'll be talking about the pre-reading stage. To start with, let me show you the first slide I brought today. All right. So before we start, this is the content I'm going to be covering in this 3-day course. I will be talking about reading. Reading is a very important component, and there are many things we sometimes do not know. We just do it because we're teachers, but a lot of the times we do not know what terms or what expressions are the right one. So today we're going to focus on that. And if you happen to have any questions um, before finishing the course today, I will be answering any questions you want to. In the pre-reading stage, we will be covering what's brainstorming, why is it important, and what techniques are we going to apply. The second point we will be talking about is anticipation or prediction. We all know it as prediction. How to predict content and vocabulary, having questions, and how to use visual and audio aids as well. Okay, another important aspect in the pre-reading stage is why we read, the why reading stage. In this uh, part, we're going to be talking about aspects such as skimming to extra general idea of the whole text. Uh, we're going to learn how to identify scanning. A lot of the times when we teach students, they are not aware of what they are doing. They do not know what to need to apply in order to read faster. So we will be talking about scanning to extra detailed information as well. We're going to learn how to distinguish between literal and implied meaning. So important topic as well. We're, um, we're going to recognize grammatical word clauses such as nouns and verbs, um, tenses, pluralization patterns, rules, and elliptical forms. And also, we're going to learn how to infer meaning of unknown words. All of these things are going to be taught during this 3-day course. And the last but not least one is the post-reading stage. In this stage, you will recognize the author's intention. We're going to also learn how to distinguish between literal and implied meaning. You might be wondering why literal and implied again. So there are two things we as teachers should know: when to use or when to apply literal and implied meaning after reading a text or before reading text. And the last topic that we will talk about will be how to recognize the communicative function of written text according to its purpose. So, having said this, we will start with the first topic today. Okay, let's get started with the pre-reading stage. What is a pre-reading stage? A lot of times we as teachers um, do not find the right tools in order to start a lesson. A lot of the times we just give them the text straightforward, and so sometimes we do not um, have the ideal goals that we have already set. So pre stage is such an important part of having our students um, internalize the information they are reading. Okay, in the pre-reading stage, there are many steps we need to follow. And there are also many strategies we need to apply or we need to take into consideration. One very important technique or strategy that we all need to think about is brainstorming to activate schemata. So what is this about? How can we get our students interest? How can we get our students motivated in the topic we're talking about? The brainstorming stage is a pre-reading strategy, as you can see in the slide. This technique is to get prior knowledge. This is to know if students um, know something about the topic we will start, or if they do not know nothing about it. Um, as you can see in the slide, it says um, that the brainstorming stage activates prior knowledge, and at the same time it increases interest in the topic. We will start now with an example of how we can apply brainstorming in a lesson. For example, okay, in this slide, you can say the word vacation. This is a very good technique when we just write the word, the general word we're going to be explaining. For example, vacation. We can tell our students uh, to say all the words they know about vacation. And you can either have them work in pairs, you can either have them work in groups, or even better when they work individually. For example, um, what comes to your mind if I write the word vacation on the board? A lot of our students will say maybe the beach, they like going to the beach, maybe they like going on trips, maybe they will have family time, they will go shopping, or maybe they will hang out with friends, they will maybe they will say happiness because they just uh, spend time with the family, and it's a very happy moment for them because they do not do anything but just play. Or maybe some of others might say free time. They have a lot of time. They do not go to school. If they're working with adults or like young teenagers, they might say that they do not work, they do not go to university and stuff. So a lot of information can come to their mind. So this is um, one important stage in order to get students interest in the topic you are explaining. So brainstorming is one of the many strategies you can apply in pre-written stage. So um, some teachers ask if it is better to have brainstorming in groups or individually. I would say that both ways are correct because when they work in groups, all of them have a chance to say something. Okay, and when the teacher asks to report information back, like most of them have already spoken or most of them have already said something about the topic. So all of them have a chance to say something, and it is a very good um, chance to have them say something. And it is also a good idea to have them uh, brainstorm individually because they will have the time to think before saying something. So this is one technique we are covering today, brainstorming. All right, let's move on now. Okay, another important technique that we as teachers need to take into consideration is prediction. Is prediction important in uh, in learning in our like everyday teaching? It is way too important. When we have our students predict, we are assuring that students get involved in the topic. Because if you just like, let's imagine you are like talking about soccer and you give them a reading activity for them to read, they would get bored. They are not going to be motivated at all, and they will just read it because they need to read it. But they are not going to feel they will read it because they like it or because they are motivated. So prediction um, has two, how would I say, it has two steps. You can do it before reading, which works, and you can do it before listening, which also works. So when you were listening, predicting information assures that students might get the right answer. And when you do prediction before reading, you're assuring that the students understand the information they will be reading. So as you can see in my slide, it says prediction confirms or sometimes rejects their what they have said, their predictions. Um, I have an example. I have an activity. Okay, let me show you this slide. All right. So, for example, well, in my slide, you are looking at the picture um, along with the text. That is not the idea. I'm showing this so that you understand what I'm trying to explain. The best idea is to first put the picture, any picture you want to, on the board. For example, you know, like nowadays what people have been talking about is the blue whale. These crazy games teenagers have been playing, and so students now are like well informed about it, and they know a lot, so they have lots of to say. So what would happen, for example, if I put the picture of a blue whale on the board? I would probably tell them to describe the picture. What do you think? my students will say if I show them a picture of a blue whale. Um, they will probably say that uh, blue whale, and they will say maybe it's a mammal, maybe they live in the ocean, maybe that blue whales are like very dangerous creatures. Maybe they will say that the blue whale is one of the biggest mammals in the world. Um, and they will say like lots of information they are aware of or they know already. But maybe some other students will say that blue whale, and when you mentioned the word blue whale, they were connected with the game they have been hearing um, in the last days. So this picture helps them to understand what the text will be about, what it will possibly be about. Okay, so when they all say something about the picture, once you give them the text, they will either confirm their information just said, or the text will just reject what they mentioned before, because some of them said that it is a mammal, that it lives in the ocean stuff, but some others said that um, it's a game that it's represented by a whale. So when you give them the text, and as you can see here, this text is talking about the blue whale as the suicide game that is happening now. So prediction is something you always need to do when working in any text you come across. So take into consideration that it really works. Okay, it really works. Okay, as I said before at the very beginning of this course, if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, I will give you 5 minutes before I finish to answer them. So let's move on now. All right. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. Okay. So just to finish with this very first part of the pre-written stage, remember that there are many strategies you can apply for the pre-written stage, but I'm focusing on brainstorming and prediction because these are topics that you will probably see in your um, national state exam. I guess it's going to be in 2 weeks. So you need to take a, you really need to read more about brainstorming and uh, prediction, okay? Because these are like very important topics you need to keep in mind. Now, having said this already, we're gonna move on to the next part, which is the while reading stage. Once you have our students get engaged in your topic, then the next step is to have them work. What are you going to do while students are reading? What strategies, what strategies are essential to apply it when you work, or, what are strategies you need to apply it when your students are reading. So let's get started now with a why reading stage. In the wider reading stage, there are also many strategies to take into account. For example, this is a very well-known technique, skimming. What is skimming? Skimming is a fast reading technique, and skimming is considered to be an essential tool if you want to help your students get the general idea of the text they are reading. And skimming also allows them to get main ideas. Skimming is a technique in which you or students do not read like thoroughly. They do not read word by word, but they just uh, look at the text and they get the general information. I know that it's going to be kind of hard to understand now, but I'm going to show you an example in a few minutes so that you know how to work on scheming. Okay? There are some tips that you need to be aware of when you work with scheming. So when you scheme or when your students scheme, they do not read every word. While students scheme, they do not every single word they see because that's just normal reading. And scheme is just something different. They they do not read every sentence. So there's no need to read every sentence when you skim because as I said before, what you are focusing on or what your students need to get is the general information on what the text is about. So then it says um, you need to like keep your eyes move quickly. Yes. So it's fast reading. And when you read fast, so you just like do not take time to read like carefully. You just like glance at it and you just continue reading. All right. Okay. I have an example now. I want to show it to you. And let's see. All right. So look at this example. I don't know if you can see it like clear. I guess it's small. Okay. So look at this um, example I have now. Do not focus on the yellow questions yet. I just want you to look at this uh, example. It says lost cat. Like from like at first sight, what is this text about? Like if you like look at it like very quickly, what do you think this text is about? If you want to type something, if you want to like post any comments, just do it and I will answer. So we can like just make it interactive. Yep. Feel free to post any comments now. Okay. I want to take a look at this uh, example. So when you skim information, you do not, as I said, you do not read every single word. Normal reading would be Lost cat. Lost our cat Sam on Thursday 2nd October. She has never ran away and we think she has wandered out and got lost. Black and white. Um, she's uh says like he has round. It is healthy looking. She's well looked after and it's a love pet. She was last seen in the Chapel Street area. So this is a normal reading. And when you skim, that's not the idea. The idea is like just look at the text and try to like move your eyes very quickly so that you get the general idea of the text. For example, very quickly, what do you think this text is about? Okay? Um, if you thought that this text is about animals, well, then it is not correct. Then if you thought that this text is about an animal which is lost, then you are correct. Yes? Like it says you have a telephone number, then you have this lost cat. So you have information which gives you an idea that it's about an animal which is lost. Okay? So let's focus on question number one now. It says, um, oh, this is what we just said. So what you thought the text um, would be about. Question number two, what extra information did you get? So now, to this stage, question number two says, what extra information did you get? Now, at this stage, when you have already asked your students to get the general idea of the text, then the next step is to ask them some comprehension questions. See if they are understanding like some information they got to read. For example, here, what extra information did you get or can we identify? It is black and white, yes. Um, that we can call the family and we have the telephone number there, okay? And what else? We know that at which day this cat was got lost. So there is extra information that it is also that it will help students to understand the text better. Number three, did you already have a good idea what the notice was about? Um, so before like reading the text or like when you would give the text, when you saw the text at the very beginning, like were you aware of what it was going to be about? Yeah, maybe yes. Some students develop this um, technique way too fast. A lot of the time when you give the students a text and they just look at it, they get like the general information because they just like look at it that fast and they know what it might possibly or what it is about. So skimming, just to um, review what I said, skimming is an stage and the while reading part. It is a fast reading technique and it focuses um, in the idea of getting the general information of the text your students are reading. Okay, so keep that in mind. Another technique and that it is important to mention, it is scanning. Okay, many times, but many times students get confused and they do not know if they are scanning or if they are scheming. Scanning and scheming both are fast reading techniques, but each of them has a specific purpose. Scanning, um, compared to scheming, focuses on a specific information. You do not spend a lot of time reading the text. So you just focus on very specific information. Um, when you scan, you do not read every single word. Don't waste your time reading every single word because that way you are not going to find the answer you need to find. So be careful there. And when you scan, think about what you're looking for. This is what you need to keep in mind when you scan. Just keep thinking about what you are looking for. Do not waste your time trying to read extra information that's going to be useful. Okay? So remember, while you read or while your students read, there are two techniques that are applied a lot of times, but do not get confused. Skimming is to get general information of a text. Scanning is a technique which focuses on getting a specific information. And this is um, something so important because in your national state exam that you will be taking soon, it might be confusing. In the task I will upload um, later, um, you will see some cases in which it's going to be kind of confusing because the text says like, for example, to read, the students are supposed to look a word in a dictionary. What are students developing? Are they scanning or are they skimming? So some of these examples and cases, you will find them in the exam I will upload later on. Okay, so to continue with this part, I'm going to give you an example of how to scan. There you go. Okay, um, look at this list. Um, remember that I said that when we scan, we look for a specific information, not general one. So here we have a list of things you might scan. Okay, so it says pick the thing you would use scanning for. So how about reading instructions? Do you think um, your students will develop this technique? Do you think your students will scan information if they read instructions? Not at all. Not at all. Absolutely not. Students do not scan um, information if you read instructions. Of course not, because they are reading word by word, and they are not scanning. They are not looking for specific information. So this is not an example of scanning. How about finding a telephone number? Yeah, as if you notice here, finding a telephone number is a good way to practice scanning. You are familiar with the yellow pages. Yeah, you are very familiar with that. What if, for example, somebody tells you to look for um, any person's phone number? What you're going to do is to just open out the book and you will go straight to the like alphabetical order, and you would just try to look for the name of the person you have been asked to look for. So you are scanning. Of course, you are scanning because you are going, you are not going to read all the names in the book. You are not going to do that. You will just go straight. You will go directly to the number you have been requested. So finding a telephone number, it is a good way to scan information. How about finding out who a letter is from? No way. No way. How about reading a book? Do you think reading a book is scanning? Well, not really. Because when you read a book, uh, if you read, for example, say, if you read a poem, um, you are going to be reading word by word because you really want to understand what um, the meaning of that text is. So you will have the necessity to read word by word, and it will take time to read. So you're not scanning there because you're not looking for specific information. How about finding a street on a map? Absolutely yes. Here is another example of how you can, or how students can develop their scanning. Why is this? Because if you are given a map and you want to go, let's say, to a very specific restaurant, so you will just like look at the map and you will want to look for the name of the restaurant. You are not going to be looking, or you are not going to be reading to all the information you have on the map. You know, a map has lots of information. So you are not going to waste your time looking at the whole information. You will just go directly to the name of the street you are looking for. Okay, and then we have, for example, looking up the time of the bus, also a good way to scan information. Let's say you're in the bus station and then you want to look for time your bus departs. So would you just go to the screen, it shows, and you will just like look at the times, and you will look at the time your bus will depart. So then you are scanning. How about finding a plumber in yellow pages? The example I gave you. Yes, finding a plumber in the yellow pages. Yes. So you will just open out the book and it will just go to the plumber section, all right? And then you will just like look for a number you're looking for. You are not going to read the whole book. So this is also another way of finding a specific information. Remember that scanning is finding a specific information. Okay? This one, and you will understand it better here. Finding a word in the dictionary. Yes, this is a very typical example when explaining scanning. So let's say uh, you tell a student to find a word, say independence. So your students are now going to go to the very first page of the dictionary and they will start reading all the words in the dictionary. what are they going to do? They will just open up the dictionary and they will just look up the word they have been requested. They will go directly to the word independence. So they are looking for specific information, and this is called scanning. Okay, scanning. Well, we have two other examples. It says studying an agreement and checking that a check has been assigned. Okay, so just to sum up, so just the I just want to make sure you understand what the difference between a skimming and scanning are. Okay, scanning is to get scanning is to get specific information, and skimming is to get general information of a text. Um, all right, all right. So before moving on, I'm going to show you one example of how you can also work on scanning. Okay, I'm telling you this because in your national state exam, you will find cases. You will have descriptions of different situations, and then I want you to make sure you understand what I'm saying, because sometimes the cases you will see in the exam will be kind of tricky. But if you know how these uh, techniques are applied, then you won't have any problems. So if you happen to have any questions, please let me know that I'm going to be more than happy to answer your queries. All right. Another way of working on scanning is this. Okay. Now, I want to look at the ad. This is an advertisement. All right. So at first sight, like there's a lot of information there, right? There's a lot of information. So um, it is not necessary to read every single word of this advertisement to to know what this is about. For example, let's get started with the first question. It says, what can you save from shopping at this place? You just do it, my friends. What can you save from shopping at this place? If you're going to post any comments, just do it. That would help a lot. Ana, Javier, any like, what can you say from shopping at this place? How about you, Merly? What can you tell me? So if your answer was money, then you are correct. The food. Merly said the food. Okay. So first question said, what can we say from shopping at this place? Mary said the food. Okay. Does anybody else have a different answer? Ana, do you have a different answer? How are you, Javier? Jose Luis? Ana said the food. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Actually, the answer is you save money, of course. You save money. Okay. Um, you are now developing the scanning technique because you are now reading like all the information you have in this advertisement. You're just like trying to focus on some specific information that the question is requesting. All right. How about the second one? How many good reasons are there for shopping there? How many good reasons are there for shopping there? Come on, what are your answers? Good. Very good. There are 100 reasons, like very quickly. That's correct. What is the telephone number? What is the telephone number? It is, yes, 0151-207-3898. All right? There you go. Very good, Anna. There you go, Anna. You're following me. That's really good. Now, what can you earn with Argos? What can you earn? All right. Then, what are the names of the catering firm? What are the names of the catering firm? You will probably say best in catering. You will probably say best way catering, etc. All right. And how long does the offer last? Very quickly, if you answer 3 weeks, then it is correct. Okay. Um, I'm showing you this example because I want to make sure you understand what the difference between scanning and skimming are. Um, so just to summarize, just to sum up all this information I shared with you today tonight. Um, skimming is to get general information. Scanning is to get a specific information. Okay, and I'll just give you this example so you internalize it better. Okay, both skimming and scanning are fast reading techniques. And when you skim and you scan while you read, then you do not waste your time reading every single word you see. Okay, so um, now we have 8 minutes left. And if you have any doubts, if you have any queries, any questions, just let me know that I'm going to be more than pleased to answer all your questions. Does anybody have any questions? Um, let's see. No. Okay, so let me tell you this. You know that after every session, you will have an exam, all right? So The exam will be available for all of you tomorrow at noon. All right? So remember that your exam will be uploaded tomorrow in the morning and it will be available for you at noon. So there are three cases and those cases are going to be focused on the information I talked to you about today. So it will be about the pre-reading stage, so brainstorming and prediction, and part of the wide reading stage, which was skimming and scanning. Okay, just to review everything we did today, I want to go back to the very first slide I showed you today. All right, so today we focus on brainstorming as a very important tool in the pre stage, and this is to activate prior knowledge, and it is also a good way to get your students engaged or to motivate them to um, be interested in the text they will be reading. We also talked about prediction as as a way to confirm or reject information your students uh, will say before reading text. Remember, the prediction can be taught either before reading or before listening. And we also focus on the while reading stage. We focus on two techniques: skimming to get general information, and we also mentioned scanning to get a specific information about a text your students are reading. Well, my friends, it's been an hour with you. It's been a pleasure to be sharing this information. If you, I will repeat this over and over again, but if you have no questions, I'm here to help you. I'm here to answer all your doubts. Take a chance to ask any questions you have because um, I will be able to help you now. Otherwise, like once the course is over, no chances will be allowed. So take a chance to ask me any questions you have now. Tomorrow we will start at 8 o'clock sharp as we did today. And tomorrow I will be sharing some other techniques that are to be applied in the wide read technique as well. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. We have 3 minutes left. Do you have any questions? So, more than pleased to help you. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Anna. I'm glad. I'm glad to read. You said it's clear. All right. So, since there are no questions, I assume you understood what I said. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I will be with you tomorrow at 8 o'clock sharp. Remember, your exam will be uploaded tomorrow at noon. All right. So that's it. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow. Good night.